Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Yesterday was a miserable day. We had freezing rain all day. It was cold, just like 1 degree above freezing. Miserable day, and it was dark and cloudy, and yeah, today was a little better. It was raining in the morning. We're +1, so 1 degree above freezing now, but it's still dull and cloudy. So there's 5 more days to go before the winter solstice, where the days start getting longer, and hopefully the sun gets a little more intense, and hopefully get a few more sunny days. The cloudy days are kind of hard on the trees. I went on a bit of a shopping spree today. I got that light, that grow light at the Toronto Bonsai Society's silent auction. A really nice light and metal casing and everything. It didn't come with a bulb, so I checked online. It takes up to 200 watt bulbs. The 200 watt bulb was $99, so that's pretty expensive. So I went for one that was a little dimmer. I went for a 125 watt bulb. Saves on a bit of electricity, and I think I'm mounting it in the basement, so I don't need the real high intensity lights because it's really cool in the basement. When the trees are at a cooler temperature, they don't need as much intense light. So I'll show you what it looks like. So it's a compact fluorescent bulb, 7,200 lumens, 8,000 hour lifespan. It's 125 watts, 6,400 K. So should be pretty good. Yeah, and it contains mercury, so you've got to dispose of these properly. So there's a spectrum of it. You can kind of see the graph. I don't know what that tells me. It tells me not much in the red range, lots in the blues, greens, and yellows. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at it and try it out and see how bright it is. Here is a look at my light. I plugged it in. I'll turn it over, so it's all metal construction. It's quite nice. Now there is a plastic film that I have to pull off of the reflector, so I won't let it heat up too much. Here's the film here. I might as well take it off now. I do not need it on there. There. So the plastic film's on. Now there's an on-off switch right here, and it's sealed for moisture protection. So here I go. Get ready, cover your eyes. There it goes. So at first it glows quite dimly, and then as time goes on it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So it's quite a nice light. I really like it. So that'll hang in the basement. I've got, this light comes with some hanging clips, so I'll have it hanging from the roof like that. And it says the 200 watt bulb will cover a 4 foot by 4 foot area. This one will probably cover like 3 feet by 3 feet, something like that. But again, in the basement, I don't need the high intensity light. This will be fine for lighting up that new table I put in down there. I'm very happy with the new Sunblaster bulb. I think it's going to be fantastic in the basement. So I'll either hang it up tonight or tomorrow. Let's look at some of the other things I purchased. If you remember back in the summer, I bought one of those misting fans, and it takes Ryobi batteries, and I got 2 batteries. I got the one that came with it, and I bought another battery, and the misting fan didn't work out very well. It lasted for about almost a month, and then the pump failed in it and I couldn't repair it. So it was kind of, it worked well when it worked, but it didn't last very long. So I was kind of disappointed. You can't buy replacement parts for it. You can buy all the replacement parts except for the pump, so kind of useless in that manner. So I wouldn't recommend you get that Ryobi misting fan at all. I think it's 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 okay if you're taking it camping a couple of times a year, it'll work fine, but not for greenhouse use. It just doesn't last. So I had these spare batteries and I thought, well, it's kind of a waste now. I'm not using the misting fan. And then I saw that Ryobi has a flashlight that they using the same system of batteries. And I thought, well, I do need a flashlight. I use the flashlight out here if I'm checking up on the trees at night, if it's check the temperature in the greenhouse. I also use it down in the basement when I shut the grow lights off. It goes completely black down there, and without a flashlight it's really hard to make it back up the stairs. And same with the plant room. When I turn the lights off in there at nighttime, it goes pitch black. So a flashlight would be really, really handy. So I went out and bought one. So here is the flashlight I got, the Ryobi. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 LEDs in it. So it's pretty cool. I've got the small battery on it right now. So when this runs out, I keep the 2 batteries charged, so I'll just swap it out. So here it is. I'll turn it on. There it is. So it's pretty bright. If I click it again, it dims. And if I click it again, it dims. And then off. On. Dim. Dimmer. Off. Here's a look. I'll turn it on the plant here. There it is. Very, very bright. I found these flashlights are really handy at nighttime. I look at the trees and you can check them over for insects. And it really highlights the insects because you have a black background at night and it really lights the tree up brightly underneath. So if you have spider mites, it lights up the webs on the branches really clearly. If you have aphids, you can really see them. It's fantastic. If you have scale insects, it really highlights them on the branches and the leaves. So it's a really good inspection tool, is to have a high-powered flashlight at nighttime. Just have a look at your trees. In the daytime, you know, you have this background that distracts you. You can't see it as clearly. So, yeah. So I found flashlights are really good for inspecting your trees at night. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but this bulb was $59.99. So that's a lot better than paying $100 for an indoor grow bulb. I often get asked what is the temperature and humidity that I keep my plant room at. So I didn't really have a good indoor gauge, so I went out and bought one at all these purchases were at the Indoor Farmer except for the flashlight. That was from the Home Depot. So I'll show you my thermometer humidity gauge that I got. Here is a look at the Hygro thermometer I got. This is the same one that I use in the greenhouse here, and it worked really well. So it has all the min-max indoor, outdoor temperatures, humidity, and it's really good. The one in the greenhouse here worked really well. So this one's going in the plant room, so I know what temperature it is and what humidity level it is in the plant room. I think the humidity level is quite high in the plant room. I've never measured it, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around 70 to 80%. It depends a lot on temperature. The cooler the day, generally the humidity drops because the air can't hold as much moisture. But when it warms up on a sunny day, I think it goes up to like 80% in the plant room. It's very humid. Soon we'll know the exact numbers. My last purchase is also from the Indoor Farmer. I have 3 flood tables in the plant room. They're like tables that hold water. So if you water your trees, the water sits in the bottom of the flood table. And it's quite common to have a drain in it, so then you can drain your water into a bucket or something and reuse it. And I'll have to filter it out, of course. So I got 3 adapters, so I have to drill a hole in my flood table at the lowest point, put the adapters in, then I can put a piece of hose on it, and then I have a valve, and I can open and close the valve. So when I want to drain the table, I open the valve, put a bucket underneath, and it just drains the table. The reason I went with valves instead of having like all these tubes going to one bucket is that I can just keep the water in there if I want to raise the humidity level. You know, if it's just a little bit of water, I don't want it draining out. But when it gets full enough that it starts coming up to the level of the bottom of the pots where, you know, it might provide too much moisture to the pots, I can then drain it. And I can drain just a bit if I want. And it doesn't take up as much space because I can just have the tubes hanging down, drain it into the bucket, move the bucket over, drain the next one, move it over, and drain the third one. So I think that's better than like plumbing it all in, having possibility of leaking hoses and and maybe the bucket just overfilling, or I don't know. So that's how I did it. So I just drain each flood table individually. It should work out pretty well. Here is a shot of the light. It is at full brightness. It's kind of hard to look at, actually. It's quite bright. Here in the greenhouse, it is currently 10.5 degrees Celsius or 50.7 degrees Fahrenheit. The relative humidity is 68%. So quite cool. I'm just checking the light out for heat. Let's see how warm. Oh, I can feel heat coming off. It's a nice warm heat. It's not hot to the touch or anything, but you can feel a bit of warmth. So that was my shopping spree for today. I figured, it's kind of rainy, gloomy, and cloudy out, so a good opportunity to go out, catch up, get some supplies that I needed, continue working on the plant room in the basement. So tomorrow I'll be hooking up all that piping. I'll get my grow light hung up. It should be a lot of fun. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.